We are coming together today to do our version of The View, which is a afternoon show, if you haven't watched it, where we're going to be talking about different little known women in the Bible. And so we're starting today in Judges chapter 4, verses 12 through 24, and we're going to talk about Jael and her completing the assignment that God gave her that she didn't know she had. All right, I'm going to be reading from the NIV version, starting at chapter 12. When they told Sisera that Barak, son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera summoned from Harosheth Hagoyim to the Kishon River all his men and his 900 chariots fitted with iron. Then Deborah said to Barak, "Go. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you?" So Barak went down to Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him. At Barak's advance, the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and army by the sword. And Sisera got down from his chariot and fled on foot. Barak pursued the chariots and army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim, and all Sisera's troops fell by the sword. Not a man was left. Sisera, meanwhile, fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, because there was an alliance between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the family of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." So he entered her tent, and she covered him with a blanket. "I'm thirsty," he said. "Please give me some water." She opened a skin of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him up. "Stand in the doorway of the tent," he told her. "If someone comes by and asks you, 'Is there anyone in there?' say no." But Jael, Heber's wife, picked up a tent peg and a hammer and went quietly to him while he lay fast asleep, exhausted. She drove the peg through his temple into the ground, and he died. Just then Barak came by in pursuit of Sisera, and Jael went out to meet him. "Come," she said, "I will show you the man you're looking for." So he went in with her, and there lay Sisera with the tent peg through his temple, dead. On that day God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, before the Israelites, and the hand of the Israelites pressed harder and harder against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they destroyed him.
And I will be reading Judges 5, verses 24 through 27. And again, we are still talking about this woman, Jael. Verse 24. "Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, most blessed of tent-dwelling women. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him curdled milk. Her hand reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera and crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. At her feet he sank, he fell. There he lay. At her feet he sank, he fell. Where he sank, he fell dead."
Amen. So one of the things that stood out for me regarding her was the question I asked myself was, why was he so comfortable coming to her? And then it talks about, well, her husband had made an alliance with the king, which separated him from his group, and so I thought about God builds relationships, so he allows us to connect with people. And we don't always initially understand why we're connected with that person, or what we think we're connected to him for may not even be the thing, because he was the king. They were connected to the king, which came with that like power and authority, and so they were probably allowed in venues that other people weren't, and not thinking that I'm gonna have to kill the king. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to kill his commander when that arises. And so sometimes we don't know why we're connected to people. And sometimes it takes patience, because that couldn't have been like, oh, I'm connected and now I'm into this. We just have to trust God that if this is an alliance that he put together, that he gonna eventually show us or present us with an opportunity to kind of walk in the reason for that, because he had to be comfortable.
And she had to be bold.
Yes.
She had to be bold and have the courage of, I just don't know what.
Right.
Because, I mean, she really did something by taking him out. One of the things that I really resonated with, though, was that this illustrates how women have a significant role in the kingdom. You know, because her act
That's a
really did
mouthful.
open up just a lot for women, right? But then also the partnership between men and women, because you had her, Deborah, and Barak. And so that partnership together really does say how it takes us all to move the kingdom forward.
Well, I thought men find safety in women, and that's why he went there, because the version of King James said peace. We women provide peace,
Yeah.
and she wasn't trying to be messy. And so I felt like, yeah, but when he got there, she saw, no, I want to keep the peace. She wanted to keep the peace. And so she said, you know what, I got one little option. I can let him be found, or I can take him out. And I'm gonna keep the peace, and maybe I don't want what comes if he is found.
Right.
And so I'm gonna go ahead and do it myself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's good.
Yeah, because God had already said prior that Deborah told Barak that God's going to give it into the hands of a woman.
But they overlook all that.
Yeah, they do.
And the king asked like, oh, you go stand there. No, I ain't watching you. I felt like, no. And he was like, just ordering her around. And she said, okay, okay. Now, go ahead.
He was,
Yeah.
you know, because he asked for water and she gave him curdled milk.
Because she wanted him to feel comfortable.
Comfortable. Yeah.
And he wasn't none the wiser.
Right.
Like most men are none the wiser.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that even taps into, as a woman preacher, how, you know, you still fight in some atmospheres, the ability that, like, God talked to me, like, he gave, you know, but they think that women can't have that kind of voice in the church, and it's like, this 2025 going to 2026, we still fighting that battle? Like, and you know, it's interesting that even no matter how prestigious they get, because we know women on large stages, oh, she acting like a man, or is she too loud, or is she too, you know, God takes the personality that he gives us. Like Cicera couldn't have came to my house, and I'd be like, oh, come on in, Cicera, lay down here, because it says she gave him, she put it in a bowl for nobles, and so she made him feel kind of important and like safe and comfortable. He could have came to my house and felt that. But he could come to her, and she just laid out the atmosphere for him to be comfortable enough to lay down and go to sleep. He actually went to sleep thinking, this is easy. I'm gonna hide in here, and then I'm gonna go and be able to do my thing. And not even, you know, stepping into what her plan was. And so, yeah, we still fighting battles for women not being advanced in the kingdom, or not even be getting platform. Like, her dress is too tight, or, you know, she can't look like that. You know, she got on too much makeup, or she, you know, all of those things come up for women being assigned by God to something, and so we have to be careful all the time. What you got on, you gotta make sure, like, man, if you come in here and you see my shoulder and that sends you into sin, then that's not a character flaw in me, that's a character flaw in you. But having all of those things built into just trying to do what God called you to do in the space that he provides for you to be able to do it. But find that peace and safety, yeah, that's good. I never thought about that they find safety. Some men find safety.
You said about women providing an atmosphere of peace and not inviting men into it, because that could be a strength we often see as a weakness, because we feel like, because we are the weaker vessel by nature, you might feel like, okay, me just having those softer qualities are a weakness because people can take advantage of it. But in this specific situation, it was good that he might have overlooked that
Right.
very powerful attribute because she was able to step into her power that God had bestowed upon her, step into the situation that he opened up to her. I like that a lot.
So the part about, I guess, women having to fight to be in spaces, and there's still a lot of that, right? There's in the church and the kingdom, in the workplace and glass ceilings and all that other stuff, right? But there's also this piece here that she didn't fight to be in that place.
Right.
She didn't have to fight to be in that place. And also she didn't go out and be like, oh yeah, I did this and this is why it justifies me being who I'm supposed to be. So she didn't have to, she stood in the assignment, she did what she was supposed to do and how she had to do it. But she didn't have to fight for that space. And whether or not, well, it had already been established that she was the one that got the victory, right? So it was already foretold, and how it came to pass, how it manifested, she didn't have to fight for that.
So how do we translate that for us? Because a lot of times we feel like we have to fight, like, you know what I mean? She didn't, and coming to the place where she had to be, where she just waited. And it all came to her, like, sometimes we don't always have that, like the patience or even the understanding that what God has for me is for me.
Well, that's where the song comes in. In fact, I feel like it's giving God the glory for what he did. And they were recognizing that it was all him. And it wasn't her. She just was the one who executed it, but it was him. And the song was to him for all that he had delivered them out of.
And sometimes our silence is golden. And I think that.
Pastor said, hush.
She just said it. Sometimes we just have to close the pie hole. Yeah, because our silence will speak for us. Our gifts will make room for us. There's just so many times when we feel like we have to fight. And how many times have we been in situations where it's like they expect us, especially Black women, to come out, and so sometimes we just need to shut it down, and our silence will speak for us.
Well, as a previous controller, I'm working on it. We think we have to, but we don't always have to.
We don't.
We want to, because if it ain't our hand in, it's not going to be right. And I have to learn that. You ain't got to be in everything.
Right, that's right.
Be quiet. Until they call you a name.
But it's a slippery
Yeah.
slope, because she didn't go out the tent and call the little man and see.
No.
Right.
Ain't no man come over here because you can kill him.
You can't
No,
do
it's
it.
like, I got to do it right.
Yeah.
She said, oh, you looking for him? I did that.
Right.
Already been happened.
Yeah.
I did that.
But what an amazing collaboration it was, though, between her, Deborah, and Barack. They each played their own role, and everybody stayed in their own lane, but the business got handled, by taking him out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's good. Wow. That's some good stuff. Yeah, that was good stuff.
I
tried to pop in because
I was trying to relate myself to her, and I was like, courage. Because sometimes I have to enter rooms where I have to have the courage. And, it's like, I'm not driving stakes through anybody's head, but metaphorically I am, because I have to be quiet and I have to listen to all the riffraff, and then I speak. And then when I speak, then I have to drive the stake in the heads, metaphorically, But, I didn't know her until we got this assignment from Lady PA, but I've read her name so many times, but I kind of glossed over her name, like she was there, but she wasn't really important. but man, she's incredibly important.
That's him and that's him, baby.
Yes.
Means something now.
Yes, and how she kept her feminine way by bringing him in, making him comfortable, peace, so that he don't fall into pieces. She brought him in, gave him peace, and then, yes, she handled the business. Resourceful.
Yeah.
She looking ahead too. And she don't know what's coming, but I need peace no matter what.
No matter
I had it
what.
with this, and I don't know who's gonna take over, but I need my household to
Yes.
have peace.
She didn't just handle for the moment.
No,
She was handling it for the future.
Right,
So, it was
all by herself.
all by herself. And the courage it took to take a stake through somebody's big head, I mean, that's something. That's something.
Yeah. And one time, it didn't say she cut it away.
She whammied it. Yes. So she goes, I got one shot. This shot gotta be good.
Yeah, because what if he'd have woke up, like,
Exactly.
she'd have did it and
Right.
not enough, and
Right.
he'd have woke up, now she got to try to fight him and all of that.
And she made him vulnerable to that by how she treated him.
Right.
And he was none the wiser.
Yeah.
None the wiser.
Sitting up there sipping on
Yeah.
crazy milk.
Not knowing that was his last.
Your last Here, baby, take this.
Yeah.
Well, we have the ability to do that
Yes.
as women. I can send my husband out in a good place or a bad place, depending on how we interact. And I know that, and he does too. And so when you encounter him, if he in a frenzy, I'm probably, yeah,
That's right.
it's probably me.
That's right.
Yeah, that's good.
Gotta take responsibility for some of it.
Mhm.
Also when Barack said that he wasn't going unless Deborah go. And so now it's opening up a new way for somebody to come in and get the victory you should have had. So yeah, talk about that.
That was amazing to me, because he says, I'm only gonna go if you go. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty powerful, because Deborah meant something to him. And when she sang that song,
She called it well with that song, huh? Yeah, she gave it to him.
she gave it.
Yeah.
I think it was also powerful for her to say that, like, if I go, then I'm gonna take the credit. I think she was like letting him know that you played a vital role in this as well, but like, I'm going to take all of this credit
Right.
without you, if I go in your place.
And then she credits it back to where it belongs in this song, which all back to God.
Right.
But yet the women came through and did and you know,
Yes.
I'm not sure if he was a military person, because it didn't really say that. But he was like, I need help.
It wasn't him who said, wake up, you gotta wake up and sing that song. You know, cause it was the song that had to be done, and he couldn't do it, cause that's why he asked her.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And this came in my head, that when he came to her, and she told him that you're not gonna get the victory a woman is, but it didn't come off to me like she said it in a way that tore down who he was as a man. That he lowered himself to come to her because he understood her authority and her power, and in his weakness, he came to her and her strength, but she could turn around and say, you're supposed to be the head of the army, you're supposed to be, she didn't do all of that. She just said, okay, you made this decision, you're not gonna be able to get the victory, God's gonna give it to a woman, but come on, let's go. We're gonna go and fight. And so she didn't take that away from him still in the situation. So that just speaks to how we handle men as well. We have to learn.
It's not what we say, it's how we
That's
say
how we
it.
say it, that's how we say it.
Yeah, let's salt. I got some salt. Let's salt.
You gotta add a little
I
bit.
do. I can be when I want to.
If we want them to do what they
Right,
supposed to do,
right.
let's not take it away from them. And they say, oh, you do it. I don't know, I'll do it, you know. Because I want a husband, a whole husband. I don't wanna pick and choose many husbands.
Right.
And, you know, and sometimes you gotta let him do that. And I know I haven't always done that. And then be mad when he don't step into the role, like, he's like, well, you say you're good at it.
Yeah, you got it.
And then I'm looking crazy.
That's true.
Yeah. So come on inside.
But how many of us as women do that all the time?
Oh, yeah.
So, I know we're talking about each other and how we do it, but now talk to them. Tell them how we do it, and how we should do it. That was good. That was
With
good.
me, growing up in a single parent home, I only saw strong moms. So it took a while for me to chisel myself down to realize that I needed to be, and I'm gonna use the word submissive to my husband. Because I came from the breed of, well, you know, can I have this? Well, no, we're not gonna do that right now. I was like, oh, I'll forget it. You know, and so I had to be kind of chopped down to recognize that I wasn't supposed to be doing it like that.
Right.
So as women, we have to understand there's times when we just need to take a back seat. And we need to understand that our relationships or our roles, we're not subservient and we're not unimportant, but we have to work together. Taking the lead in everything doesn't work us together. So,
You know, even when your marriage is not so good, so that, you know, because I see that as when you're in a good, you guys are learning together, you just have to learn some things. But even in a situation when the marriage is not so good, there are still times, you know he gonna mess it up. But you have to allow that to fall, because how does it ever change if you know, for instance, like we done made a discussion and this is what we're gonna do. And then when you walk away from the table, he goes and does just the opposite of what you said you were gonna do. Well, sometimes, you know, we always run and catch it. But if you run and catch it, then it never falls. So why would he change his behavior if every time he does that, you run and catch it? So sometimes you have to, as hard as that is, you have to let it fall in order for them maybe trust God to open his eyes and say, that wasn't what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to do this so that he can transition into the role that he's really supposed to be walking in.
and sometimes we're wrong.
Yeah.
And our way is the right way. Sometimes we need to
Ooh,
listen.
that hit like a wow, like what?
Man, how many times we gonna repeat Pastor today? Pastor says sometimes we need to just close it. And so, yeah, sometimes we're wrong. Our way is not always right.
Yeah.
Even though we think we're right all the time. Sometimes it ain't right.
Sometimes we don't. Yeah. Wow.
So I would say to my sister, sometimes your way is not the right way. Sometimes it's not all about you. You have to, pray about the situation, speak over the situation, and then ask God to give you the discernment over the situation. Because sometimes we just want to go get it done. And so we've accomplished the task and we can put the check mark in the box, and it's all wrong. And nobody's following you because you didn't really lead, you just went and did something. So nobody's in with you, and that creates conflict too in relationships, whether it's husband and wife, whether it's brother, sister, whether it's whoever. If you're just gonna go off because you're the big bad woman in charge, or the oldest, or that you know better, and do it, sometimes you create conflict within relationships. And that's not good.
You know, I would say to women that however God made you is what he gonna use. He you know, if you soft, if you quiet, if you're a little more louder, if you whatever, however he made you is gonna be good for the assignment that he gives you. So just walk in who he created you to be and look for the opportunity that he'll present to you.
Piggybacking off that, I was gonna talk about the duality of both women, because like one was at home and then she was like that peaceful presence, but Deborah, she was the military woman. She wasn't the one giving him milk or providing this for him, but they both accomplished their goals in different ways, with different measures of power and strength. I just think that what you were saying about the Regina, how we are all made, fits perfectly for the path that God has for us and the end result, like what we are supposed to accomplish. Like, I'm not the same as the people sitting around me, but we are all stepping in the path that God has for us.
Wouldn't it be a shame if we were all clones?
Right.
You know, like robots, you know, a waste. You know, we all have our individualities, you know, and all together we make people used to call California, a melting pot. And I call it a tossed salad.
Yeah.
Because I'm a tomato, you the cheese, you the croutons, you the lettuce, but all together we taste good.
Right.
You know, but you're not gonna ever make me a cheese if I'm a tomato.
Right.
You know, so keep your individual positions, but just know that all together. And so Deborah, Barack, and Jael all together made the salad taste good.
Right.
But the other part of that is that it requires action.
It does.
Right.
You can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? Passive.
Yes.
When opportunities come, because they keep coming, right? And we're going into a new year of opportunity. And if we stay in a place where we let life pass us by, we don't pick up the mantle, we don't serve where we're supposed to, you'll rise up another from somewhere else, and then what was the point of you?
Yeah.
You know, and you don't ever want to be in a place where, because it's already enough, right? That the world is trying to tell you this and that you not doing your assignment then puts you into a place of where you go into depression and you just, well, I don't know who I am because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So action is required.
That's scripture right there, because if you lose your saltiness, what do you use for?
Yeah.